lanes do and how good the one-on-one is. If the one-on-one is a melee against melee, Bloodseeker is pretty okay in most cases. If you know, if you have like the Bloodseeker and you know a Leshrac is going to harass really well on that mid lane, then Bloodseeker gains so much movement speed and attack damage that Bloodseeker can go out of control. And we see again Matumbaman picking up that Bloodseeker, whereas now he's looking towards a support Leshrac. No, actually, towards a mid Leshrac with Nymphy.
Okay, with Nymphy on the Leshrac. Yeah. Indeed, well, and with the final pick there from the side of 4SC being that Beastmaster, which we'll probably expect to see go off onto the solo offlane. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, we're into the game here, the first of this two-game series between the sides of 4 Anchors, Sea Captain, and Ninjas in Pyjamas. It'll be myself, ODPixel, joined by Hani for this one. And, well, as we were saying earlier, it's going to be a very interesting one between these two sides. A lot of big things resting on this game. We'll explain more of that later after we've seen the result from Game 1, as that will give us a bit of a clearer look into the possibilities as we will enter the second game later. But for the time being, let's get ourselves in and let's get ourselves acquainted with both of the lineups. On the side of NIP, it's going to be Jonas and Fan on that solo lane axe. It will be Hansken on the Undying, Limp on his Viper, Seal Kid on the Disruptor, and finally Era on the Juggernaut. They've all come up onto the top lane just to see if they can catch anyone out, but it was just the Beastmaster Trixie who headed out to get some wards out. And well, Hani, who are we seeing from the side of 4 Anchors, and what are they picking up this game?
On the side of 4SC, on the offlane, we're going to have Trixie on that Beastmaster. On the mid lane, we're going to have a Leshrac played by Nymphy. Then on the supports, we're going to have Boogie on that Shadow Demon, as well as Valix on that Lion support. And we're going to have Matumbaman again on that Bloodseeker. Hopefully, it's going to be a better Bloodseeker performance this game.
I mean, I was going to say, did you actually catch that game in the sense... Did you see what went wrong with the Bloodseeker pick?
The battle begins.
So, I guess the number one thing that happened entirely wrong with the game is that I would say that Alliance, on the side of Alliance, Loader jumped into a Roche pit where he gets a crush kill on a Roshan, he picks up the Aegis, and they lose a 5-on-5. Generally, you can't blame one hero for that, just because if that happens, you most likely tend to lose that game. And I would not blame it to that one hero, but I felt like Bloodseeker did not find his drive in that game. He didn't really have too much of a meaning in terms of that made that hero really that valuable.
Okay, now we're going to see the lanes kind of settle out here for both sides. It is going to be this tri-lane versus tri-lane here on the bottom lane between the two teams, leaving, of course, that Leshrac versus Viper in the mid, and the top lane, the Axe versus Beastmaster. I mean, looking at the lanes across the map, who do you feel is coming off with the kind of the stronger laning phase?
I was actually looking at it, and at first I wanted to say that 4SC has a pretty good edge in terms of if it was not a contest, and I actually did not expect NIP to contest it. They would not have contested. You would have an Axe sitting on the offlane against a potential solo Bloodseeker, as well as having that dual roam with the Shadow Demon plus Lion. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty confident in, you know, on the side of 4AC, because they make the use of getting the Viper in the middle lane very low, whereas Bloodseeker, with Thirst, so far he hasn't skilled it. He gets that movement speed and attack damage, which would have resulted in him potentially even solo killing an Axe. Now that you contest, Jugger is a really tough hero when you're facing.
Well, we're going to see a bit of action here on the bottom lane. They're trying to go on to Hansken here with the Bloodbright and the Earth Spike onto him. They're trying to corner him up in the tree line, and that is going to be your first blood there for Matumbaman. Now can he find anything more here? He's trying to hit down onto Seal Kid. Seal Kid will be able to find the kill onto Boogie. They've also lost Valix here on the side of 4SC. Matumbaman is trying to find a second kill. Era is there with a body block. Seal Kid will drop the kinetic field. Looks like Disruptor will be able to save himself. It could be Era in trouble here, but no, Era's going to be able to get himself away. And now that Hansken's coming in with the decay, Matumbaman's got to think very carefully if he wants to try and dive this one. And he's got the backup now. Valix as he returned into lane. There'll be a Bloodbright drop down. Seal Kid still hiding in the trees here. And they're going to look for him. The pings are coming out. Valix wants to search for this one. Seal Kid coming around out the outside. Does manage to get himself away. And the engagement does end there. 2-1 favouring the side of NIP. The side of 4SC, they did get that first blood onto the Bloodseeker. But all in all, I mean, what does that trade mean for this lane, Hani?
Overall, since you got the first blood on the side of 4SC, I think it's an okay trade. Sure, you lose 2 supports, which means essentially a bit more experience here for the side of NIP, but I do not think it's the biggest giveaway.
Oh, look at this as well in the mid lane. Boogie's come in for the rotation here with a setup disruption onto Limp and the follow-up Leshrac done with a split Earth. That's going to be another kill there for 4ASC, and
that is
very nice.
Very important for the momentum you have on the side of 4SC. Viper that dies in the early game is so bad for you, just because Viper's, you know, it doesn't if Viper once falls behind you, you can't come back. Like, coming back as Viper is very hard. Even if you pick up a Midas, what does Midas give you? It doesn't give the hero that much. You want to have a fast mech, you want a 5-on-5. It just gives you that tanky ability, but you're not going to grow into a late gamer essentially.
See on the bottom lane, Kinetic Field is going to get dropped down as the Tombstone as well. There'll be a defensive disruption, but it's only holding him in place for the zombies to build up, and now Matuma in a lot of trouble. There'll be a glimpse as well, bringing back Era's getting low as well. Does fall as a 1-for-1 trade. Bloodseeker was the first to fall, and now with the Hex on Silky, they're trying to see if they can find more here, but the Kinetic Field's going to get dropped. Silky's going to be able to get himself away. Now it's Boogie here on the Shadow Demon, who's stuck up there. Poison does connect onto the Disruptor. Shadow Demon pays with his life. Ends up being a 2-for-2 here between these two sides again, and let's have a look at the fight recap there. Very even trade between the teams, but a lot of action happening down here on this tri-lane versus tri-lane. But I guess looking at the heroes that they've got, we kind of expected this action.
Indeed. Just, you see on the side of NMP, they try to go so aggressive, but great response by the side of 4SC. They get the kill on the Juggernaut, but unfortunately, Matumbaman died before that Juggernaut, so he did not get that experience. And for Bloodseeker, the most important part in the early game is getting experience. It's not as important to get those, you know, get that gold advantage, because you're pretty okay with just having power threats at one point, but you want to have that experience. You want to have a fast thirst. Fast thirst, fast ultimate means.
Oh, look at this mid lane. There's going to be a disruption. Assault catch on to Liv here with the splitter follow-up as well. Sealkid's coming to TB and trying to help out Lim. Lim's got 3 points with the corrosive skin. Looks like it's going to be enough to help him. He gets himself out. No! He does go down as he walks back in. The lightning storm flies through, but 4SC, they might lose stuff in turn for this. They've lost MP on the left track. They will lose Boogie as well as Hansken coming in with a haste rune. Very nicely picked up from the bottom rune spot.
But bottom lane.
Oh, the action continuing between the two sides. Matuma trying to chase this one with 2 points into the thirst. He's easily going to be able to chase down Era. Does find the kill. And again, it's, well, a bit of a global 2-for-2 trade here between the sides. And oh, well, let's make that a 3-for-2. Now, NIP do come out on top as they find the Beastmaster kill. But no, Matumbaman's there. Gets a double kill on the Bloodseeker.
And that is a beautiful rotation there.
Yeah, the fact that he was there.
He saw that Axe was going to die. He went for it. I guess it was the right call to get that kill in a 1-on-1, but now we look at it, Bloodseeker that almost hit level 6. I was gonna say, with a double rotation TP towards middle, Era had to stay more passive. He did not go back, and it resulted in just him dying towards that Bloodseeker.
A lot of very tasty kills here going to the Bloodseeker. 7 for 7 at the moment, 5.5 minutes into this game, and now we're going to see Trixie has actually decided to rotate down here, and oh, apologies, we did miss that one mid lane. Leshrac going in again, finding himself a double kill as they take down the Viper and the Disruptor. And things starting to look a little bit up for the side of 4SC. Matumaman's been left in this lane against the Axe, and they're looking to find some farm for Trixie here on the bottom lane. I mean, what's the thought process behind this kind of lane rotation at this point on?
I think it's just that essentially Matumaman got all these levels by these ganks. A solo kill onto Axe, but he has to watch out.
But they're going to turn this one around, or at least try to here with the Rupture. Jonathan Fan will just stand his ground, but there's a rotation from Nemphy, and Nemphy on the Leshrac will be able to bring down the Axe. And I've got to say, at this point, we're seeing a lot of heavy rotations from both sides, but it seems to be 4SC there coming out on top each and every time in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, in the very, like, 2-3 minutes now, if you can even say so, it's sitting at 6.5 minutes, and we have so much going on. Bottom lane,
that's a big kill if they can bring down Era. There's going to be a disruption. Well, trying to set him more, but Era's trying to turn this one around. It's going to be a dominating kill streak for both the Undying and the Leshrac. The Lightning Storm flying through. Sealkid getting ball low. There'll be a glimpse bringing Nemphy back, but that's actually bringing Nemphy closer to Sealkid. And they'll allow Nemphy to find the Lightning Storm onto the Disruptor. Hansken does pop the flesh-eating Golem here. Matuma will just look to try and take down the Tombstone. He has the backup here of the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon hasn't got disruption here for a few seconds. Matuma trying to go in with a few points in the thirst. Does he want to try and chase this one? He's going to pop down the Blood Right. And a Blood Right jumps to himself. He wants to go for this. No, he doesn't. There's going to be a TP coming in. He will back himself out, but this is crazy.
What is going on in this game?
21 kills, 7 minutes in. We've seen a few chaotic games this qualifies, but this has got to be up there, hasn't it?
Definitely. And if we look at the item build, or rather the skill build of the Juggernaut here, we're sitting at 3 points into Blade Fury, which is not the common build.
No, not
so
at all.
He will suffer quite some in terms of just item progression. He will not farm as fast, but he just feels like he needs to go that skill rotation just because he wants to be most effective in this lane. But he's gonna suffer essentially if he gets that free farm opportunity in towards the jungle or change the lanes, right? It just, you won't find as much farm if you go that kind of skill route.
Now we're seeing towards the mid lane, Varlix and Boogie. They have rotated in. Limp's going to have to play very, very safely here. And
there's a smoke rotation coming in by NIP towards the mid lane.
This is nice. Are they going to be able to do anything here? Well, Matumba Man is in this jungle. Looks like they're just going to head back down towards the bottom lane. They're not going to be able to find anything in there. Again, just picking up the bounty. Taking Illusions out here, deciding what his next move is going to be. But I mean, the most noticeable thing here for the side of Forest is the fact that their Leshrac, he's got 7 kills 8 minutes in. That Nemphy has been so active globally with these rotations. It's kind of crazy. I mean, if net worth-wise, he must be right up there. Yeah, 4.2k on your Lesh.
Compare that to the net worth of the Viper. Yeah. Viper's a hero that has to be in. You're a hero that wants to win the lane. If you don't win the lane, it's going to be very tough for you to come back because you rely so much on a team to do well. And just comparing that with a Leshrac, then I wouldn't say that Viper scales a lot worse into the late game, but Leshrac definitely brings a lot more in the mid game for your team. If you're that formed.
Indeed. I mean, the farm for the side of NIP is looking up for Jonas and Fan. He's opted for that big boost. There's going to be a disruption set up here. Trixie's coming through as well. They've got a primal roll with the soul catch onto Jonas and Fan. The axe is flying through. The poison getting laid down as well. The illusions. They will almost suddenly get 3 down. No, he's still alive with the soul rip. He's going to be fine. Now the side of NIP, they want to try and churn this one around onto Boogie and Trixie. But now Matumba Man turning up. And with these points into the thirst, look at him go. He's fairly speedy. He's going to aim for the tombstone first. Once to take this one down, there's going to be a static storm dropped down by Seal Kid. Now if just trying to rotate himself around. Oh, with a finger onto the Undying. They will be able to bring him down. A lightning storm bouncing through all 3 of them. Matumba Man, he's so speedy. Does he not want to go for this one? It doesn't look like he does. He's looking for the... Look at this guy go. They got to go fast. He's being careful here, though. Era is level 6. Hasn't got the mana for the Omni Slash, though. And Matumba Man just pulling the creep wave away, allowing the rest of his team to take down this tier 1. It looks like they will be able to do that. There's going to be a Hex on there, and there will be a team in from Jonas and Fan looking for the cool, but seeing a corner straight about to split up. Will allow Bollock to try and get himself away from this one, but the Battlefront got onto the line. They're chasing down. There's going to be an Earth Spike holding back the axe, and the fight going on globally. Matumba Man now rotates in with the speed. Arrow will put the blade through. He can't find into that, especially when he's got 3 points into it. Earth Spike holding back Jonas and Fan will bring him down. Matumba Man is going to live. There's now going to be the demonic purge onto Era, and for SC they want to keep going with this aggression. Lightning Storm, the action trying through, but he does manage to get off the Omni Slash. It doesn't matter. Level 1 Omni Slash doesn't do enough against these heroes. Group Top's going to be a double kill for Nemphy. And turning at these guys, they just want to fight, Hani. And
I'm just amazed by how much aggression you can get into 10 minutes of time now. We're seeing at 25 kills in 10 minutes.
What the hell?
It's just not stopping.
I mean, 15 to 10, I guess it is favouring the side of 4SC, and arguably, when you've got the fights happening this thick and fast, it's a good game to have a Bloodseeker in it.
And we got to say that Eric just used his Omni Slash. Usually, you want to use that Omni Slash even if you're in a situation where you're behind. You just want to get that one pick off, and he just used it, and he still died. The chance of him getting a kill there, I felt like it was a misplay, just because there was hardly a chance. Unless you get 3 bounce onto one person, you get that pick off. But there was no hero that was that low where you get that chance of getting the kill before you die, where essentially it makes that Omni Knight, that Omni Slash worthwhile using, and it definitely did not pay out here. And if we look at Elastic, we have an axe sitting at the most CS here, but if you look at the net worth in comparison, Axe has half the net worth of the Leshrac here.
That's just crazy amount of net worth indeed for Nemphy, who, I mean, we saw at the beginning, understandably wasn't having the best of times in lane against the Viper in terms of CS, but yeah, he's looking pretty well off for himself. There's going to be a smoke up from the side of NIP.
NIP seems very desperate here.
They've got to find something with this rotation. I mean, 4SC, they're playing pretty careful here. Both Trixie and Varlix hiding in the sidelines. Looks like NIP will want to try and rotate towards the mid lane.
And it does look like me that 4SC spots this out. They just ping towards exactly the area that NIP just had it. They're sitting 100% on top of where 2 pings on the side of 4SC went out to, and you can see them. They rather sit passive. They know exactly where they are, and great read here by the side of 4SC.
Indeed, that's going to allow them to play it safe and not get themselves caught out, at least for the time being. I mean, Matumba Man, so with this Ogre Club, we see a fair few different builds on Bloodseekers. You know, some like to go straight for the S and Y. I mean, is this more like to be an S and Y, or do you think he's going straight for the BKB this game?
I wouldn't say BKB is too bad, but at the same time, I can't go both directions. It really comes down to the player. If he feels more comfortable getting that BKB usually is an item that if you fight, then it's going to be the better item. If you farms that want to pick up. It's not like
Bottom lane straight away with the Raw, the Earth Spike, the finger, everything onto Error. They bring him down. Another look for Hansken as well. He didn't manage to drop down the Tombstone. Limp throwing down the Viper Strike onto Nemphy, but Nemphy still gets the Lightning Storm out. There'll be a TP out on the side of 4SC as the Beastmaster gets himself out of this one. 4SC, they managed to take down the Tombstone. Now the Blood Right laid down onto Limp. Matumbaman trying to go to work. I mean, look at this damage that he's doing. There's going to be a Static Storm laid down. Will bring, no, he gets the life steal there. He will still fall. Here's the 2-for-1 trade so far between the sides. Now Unison Fan coming in here with a call onto Boogie. They'll be able to dunk him. It's a 2-for-2. And now with a glimpse onto Nemphy, looks like NRP will be able to find themselves a little bit more here. As Nemphy, he's out of mana and potentially out of luck as well as the call comes through from Unison Fan. Holding the River Truck in place. He's looking for the dunk. There you dunk. Unison Fan with a double kill. And a very nice fight there for the side of NRP.
And if you want to stay in this game, that was exactly the fight that NRP was looking for. We were kind of missing. Who was missing then? That fight was the Beast. Everyone was there.
Everyone was there for the side. Yeah, Beastmaster TP'd himself back to base after he'd expended the the Raw and the Axes. And yeah, everyone was there, but NRP just coming out on top, and they didn't even need to use the Omni Slash. Error's still got that one ready and available. So maybe they can look to find something even more with this.
We're almost actually looking at the Blink Dagger here on the side of NIP on the Axe. He is about to get it. It's actually quite an interesting item set because he gets that Vitality booster before finishing the dagger, and it might have been the right call, but he could have potentially even aimed to finish a Vanguard. But now, as the fight turned out, obviously you're gonna go for that dagger before finishing a Vanguard.
Yeah, I guess the fact that he got the Vit booster fairly early on has obviously been helping him out a lot in these earlier engagements. Mid lane still grouped up as a 3 here. The side of 4SC, Limp trying to find what he can.
I would still give the edge here to this side of 4SC, just because Jugger as well as Viper died in last fight, and that's the cores of NIP here. And Axe is not going to deal that damage. He needs people to deal that damage. Of course, he's one of the better heroes to deal physical damage in the early game, but you rely heavily on getting those spins onto the heroes. And if you have no one that backs him up on getting that first dunk, jumping into the next dunk, then it's going to be really hard here for the side of NIP to win these team fights.
Let's see what they can do here. We're seeing Unison Fan and Sealkid smoked up here by the Ancients. There's a fair few mid on the side of 4SC. And let's see if NIP can make this jump. Worth noting that Nemphy does, of course, have that completed Bloodstone now. Had it about the 14-minute mark, so indeed pretty scary amounts of farm here on this Leshrac. But what's he going to be able to do with it against the side of NIP's aggression?
I was going to mention that was, the amount of smokes that NIP has used here in this game so far. We're 50 minutes in, and if we look at the side of NIP in terms of their shop, they have no smoke left for 8 minutes now.
Oh yeah, geez, indeed.
I think you
was it 4SC? 4SC.
Yeah, I see 7.5 minutes now on the next smoke.
So this is their last one here.
It's gonna hurt. They haven't managed to get anything out of it. So you're rather in a position now where you play very passive. You have to wait, and you have to you see what happens in the game. It's gonna be very tough to bypass wards unless you de-ward very well. Then smoke doesn't matter too much. But on the side of 4SC, you have these wards out right now. We have a ward in the jungle as well as have a ward. We pretty much have 2 wards in one ward in each jungle, and we get quite some information out of it. 4SC now sees 2. You see Jonathan Fan tipping bottom as well as that disruptor, so they see what's going to happen.
Oh, Hansken did he go quite straight away and able to bring down the Undying before he can get out the Tombstone. And this is going to be great if 4SC want to try and continue this fight, and certainly they do. Matumbaman going straight in, looking for the kill on Sealkid, but now then with the Viper Strike onto the Bloodseek, holding him back. There's been a rupture on Terror, trying to stand this one still. He will be able to blade through himself away from Varlix as he gets the Hex out onto Limp. Varlix is going to be able to keep himself alive here on this line. Unison Fan, he's looking for the blink, will in fact just blink back. Looks like they don't want to continue this fight here. But very nice for the side of 4SC, managing to take that tower and take down the Undying as well, and they lose nothing here.
It's a great team decision. They go for that tower push, they get a pick off. Now they decide to go back, they continue farming, and it's just for... And I mean, 4SC is going to go ahead in this kind of engagement. NIP just responded. They didn't get anything out of it, but it's going to be very hard for NIP here to make a play. They want to be the active ones, but they wasted all their smokes now. They have no smoke left, so you end up in a situation where you just have to respond. It's going to be very difficult.
And let's see if the side of NIP wish to do that. So there's a bit of pressure coming down here in the mid lane. Limp's there ready and waiting. We're seeing a wraparound being looked for by Hansken and Sealkid. But 4SC playing themselves pretty damn carefully. Bottom lane error, just looking to put some pressure onto this tier 1. He's got Jonas and Fan in the sidelines, ready to counter anything the side of 4SC want to do in response. But they're not going to come down here. There's going to be a TP that did come through. It's going to be cancelled though. And in fact, it's just going to be a rupture onto Jonas and Fan. But Jonas and Fan will simply TP himself out of this one and out of harm's way. He's going to be okay. And I mean, yeah, the Jonas and Fan axe, we've seen it a lot of times. It is pretty scary. And he's doing pretty well this game. Didn't have the greatest start earlier on, 3 deaths, but now he's managed to come back 18 minutes in, has got the Blink Dagger and the Vanguard completed. Ooh, Trixie here on the top lane, will throw down the roll onto Seal Kid, and now he's just sort of trying to get himself out of here. He doesn't look like he will be able to as the glimpse comes through. He gets dunked by Jonas and Fan. That's more money in the pocket of this axe, and 18 to 14 at the moment between these sides. It's pretty tense, huh?
He was a bit greedy there. I think he had a chance to move past into the forest line, so the disruptor does not get he does not get that thunder strike onto him. With the thunder strike, as soon as that happens, you know you're dead. Like, there's no moving further unless you stay in the same position. Then glimpse doesn't have much effect, but at the same time, yeah, you guarantee that as soon as a follow-up comes into play.
At this point now, so Hansken, he has got that mech finished. Oh, there's going to be a rupture drop down onto Eric. On the side of 4SC finds this one. Lightning Storm bounces through. There'll be Bloodbright laid down here by the Bloodseeker. And, oh, in fact, hang on. Jonas and Fan's gone straight in here with a call onto Boogie. Does get hexed up, but the spin's still coming through, bringing the Shadow Demon low. He's looking for that dunk. Will he be able to find that dunk? He really wants to get it. It looks like he's going to have to give up and just turn around here with a call onto Matildaman. At the same time, Hansken's coming in to help him out with the Soul Rip. The Tombstone comes out. It doesn't matter. They do lose the axe. Boogie trying to take down the Tombstone, and the Tombstone will drop. There'll be kinetic field dropped. It's going to allow Hansken to try and get away, but the Matildaman with the BKB looking to chase down the dying. Hansken looking to TP up. The Roar will be there to cancel. It's going to be a double kill here for the Bloodseeker. NIP losing 3 heroes off the back of that fight. And as we can see from the fight recap, Leshrac did die, but of course with the Bloodstone came back very shortly. I managed to get the Bloodstone suicide off there as well.
It's very unfortunate on the side of NIP here. One thing to mention going back into that fight, what happened was Bloodseeker, he used his bot and he zoned everyone backwards, and at the same time Jonas and Fan jumped in.
To go in, yeah.
He jumped in, so he separated the two groups, and it turned out to be a very bad fight because of that. No one on the side of NIP could follow up, and it was just a bad team decision there for Jonas and Fan to jump in. Maybe he wanted to go and he called for the go, but he just didn't see that blood right. And everyone moved backwards instead of forward to drop. You know, you can dodge it both ways, right? You can move backwards or you move out of it forward. And if that would have been the call, the fight could have been probably better. But unfortunately, that did not happen.
Indeed, and NIP need to be very careful about losing these fights now. I mean, they've lost the tier 2 in the mid lane. We're seeing a Beastmaster, Trixie at the moment on the side of 4SC. He's got the first level into Necrobook, and there's the second upgrade as well. So, and obviously on top of a Leshrac, the pushing power from the side of 4SC is going to be incredibly scary. And, well, NIP need to make something big happen. And we are going to see a 5-man smoke from them heading towards this top lane, but I think 4SC, yet again, they're pretty aware of this potential aggression, and in fact, with these wards here on the side of the map, they might have even caught NIP doing this one. And
they're very aggressive.
Yeah, look at these wards.
It could have been in the radar. If it was I did not catch where that smoke came from, but if it was at the tier 3 tower in the middle, which I assume it was either there, oh, we have a ping towards it. Yeah. If it was in that area, then I do not assume that was that.
NIP, they're going to try and take down this tier 1 on the top lane, and they will be able to find exactly that, but at the same time 4SC, they've got bigger things on the menu. They're looking for Roshan here, they're also looking to apply some pressure here onto the bottom tier 2, and I don't know, there's no way that the side of NIP can stop 4SC from doing this, and this is going to be effectively a free Roshan, free Aegis.
And we're talking about the pickups on Matumbaman here. We're talking about either Ascension Yasha, but he went for that Yasha plus the BKB.
Okay.
So it's a very solid pickup. You fight a lot. You're a lot better in a 5-on-5 if you choose to go for that BKB. And well, that's what Matumbaman did. And if you look back at what happened so far in the 22 minutes, it's probably the right call. You had so many fights where BKB is just that item you want to have. Against the Disruptor, it's not that great against an Axe, but it's pretty good against Disruptor negation in terms of damage. Same with Undying as well as a Viper. Against against the Omnisash of the Juggernaut, it's not that great, but overall, it's a solid item pickup for 5-on-5s.
Jonas and Fan, he's got an Ogre Club coming out to him, so it does indeed look like after the Blink Dagger and the Vanguard, he's going to go for what I'd imagine will be the BKB, because against a lineup like 4SC, Having a BKB axe in it all is going to be pretty big. He does find the call here onto Nemphy, and with the Tombstone dropped as well, this Lesh is in a lot of trouble. There'll be a bit of a reaction coming out from the side of 4SC. The defensive disruption buying the Lesh some time, and maybe 4SC can look to fight back into this. Trixie's got a Roar available, and Nemphy's looking to go with the lightning shot. The blood right hitting three of them. This is pretty big, but Jonas and Fan gets himself back in with the call. Now with the Roar onto Jonas and Fan, they do lose the Lesh Trap, but Lesh Trap with the edges. Going to be ready to come out for round 2. Hera coming in with the Omni Slash, takes down the Beastmaster. Now 4SC want to keep fighting into this one. Nemphy's pretty tanky. This is going to be cool for Jonas and Fan. Go for the YOLO plays. He's able to bring down the Bloodseeker. Eric gets slung up by Nemphy. Nemphy will finish this one off. Lim and Haskin both incredibly low. So Silkin, they need to try and get themselves out of it. The Shadow Poison flying through Silkin and Haskin in a lot of trouble. Silkin, he'll go out to the right clicks of Varlix, and Varlix on a killing spree. Wants to find Haskin as well. He's got a stun. He will find it onto the Undying. Takes him down as well. NIP, they lose 4 here. Only Jonas and Fan on the Axe managing to survive. And again, what a fight for 4SC, and some fantastic plays coming out from the team there.
And to me, the MVP of that fight was just the Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
Those disrupts just
at the beginning as well.
Key to these team fights. He gets a disrupt off, and if you look at his skill build, you see 3 levels into disrupt, and I like it a lot because it drops the cooldown of the disrupt from 25 seconds to 16 seconds, and right now it's sitting at 19 seconds, and it was key for him to not die there in that fight. If Leshak had if it was a disrupt level 2 instead of 3, he would have died because he would not have gotten an extra disrupt off.
It was a big fight there for 4SC, certainly building on their advantage against NIP at this point. And Lesh now sitting on 10 Bloodstone charges, has a completed BKB as well into this game, 24 minutes in, and Bloodseeker is able to find a bit from that fight as well. And I mean, Lion obviously with the Blink Dagger helped him with the plays there, has a Ghost Scepter now as well. What's he got coming out? He's decided to pick himself up a gem as well. So I mean, we've already seen some very nice and aggressive warning coming out from the side of 4SC now. They'll also be able to keep tabs on what exactly is coming out from the side of NIP. And I mean, we're seeing NIP group up a lot, but they just seem to yet be able to find a team fight where they come out on top, which is kind of surprising when you look at their lineup. There's arguably on paper very strong 5-on-5 engagements.
There are indeed. It's just 4SC is just playing better in these 5-on-5s.
Yeah, I mean, look at this with the Bloodlight that's going to catch out Haskin as well. The Undying, he's got a run. He pops the Mecha. They do have the healing ward out. And, well, Limp's trying to go in onto Boogie, looking for a 5-strike that will be glimpsed back onto Trixie. Trixie will simply try and TP himself out of this one. Won't be able to make it because Jonas and Fan is there with the call. They have taken down the Beastmaster. Can they look for anything more here? Era has got an Omni Slash. He's thinking about using this one, but no, Varlix is a little bit too far away. Doesn't want to dive that deep, Era. But a nice little cheeky pick off there for the side of NIP, bringing down the Beastmaster there in the mid lane.
The story of the game so far, though, is the struggle for NIP here is that their 2 carries are still quite uninformed. Of course, it's not as important with the Bloodseeker. You know, just an Earth doesn't tell the story. It really doesn't. You can be like 15k ahead, and it's still gonna be very hard for you as a Bloodseeker to do too much action. It's a great hero, don't get me wrong, but it's just you still depend a lot on how your team is doing. And on the side of NIP here, let's say you have a jogger that has a lot more form, where the Leshak now sits at 12k net worth, and you just have a jogger sitting at 6k. If you would, you know, you have a jogger on top of that, then these teamfights could be potentially very easy for the side of NIP, but it's just not that case.
It isn't indeed. I mean, on the plus side for NIP, they do still have this Axe who's very, very rich in comparison to the rest of the team. He's closing in on that PKB now, just under 600 gold away from it. And indeed, yeah, I mean, there's the stats for his performance on Axe. I knew it was good, and well, that is good indeed. 26 wins against the 14 losses all time, and most played hero as well. I think NIP will be very happy that they've got the Axe for him this game, because arguably that's one of the things in these fights that's kind of holding NIP in there, and I feel is potentially going to be their biggest saving grace. I mean, if Axe gets a big jump call in, the fights could go very differently, and NIP could easily find themselves taking them.
Very true. And if we try to look at the decision-making now of both teams, you can see NIP just circling. They're circling so much, they're sitting together because they almost lose all their outer towers. They have 1 tower left on the top side, and they don't see the movement at all for 4SC. 4SC is smoked up right now. They're trying to make something happen.
Well, Alex is ready to try and go in with the Lightning Storm slow onto Handscan from Neffy. The finger straight up as well. The Soul Catch at the split up. He gets blown up. Trixie will put the roll down onto Silky. I mean, he can't get anything out of this team fight. He's already got the statics come out. But it doesn't matter. There's going to be buyback from the Disrupt down the Undying. Undying get the Tombstone now. Mutumba Man with the BKB trying to fight in onto Arrow. Next being popped to the side of NRP. Sorrow as well as the Juggernaut. Arrow will be able to live. Mutumba Man has to run. He's going to get glimpsed back into this one. But NRP, they've lost the Jug. They've lost the Undying for the second time this fight. They do lose the Viper as well. It's a 3-for-1 triple kill here for Nemphy, who simply TPs out at the end of it all. And again, just 4ASC largely coming out on top of NIP, and they're not even done yet. We're going to see Shadow Poison come out, and there's going to be a disruption here from Boogie, setting this one up for Trixie, coming in with the axes. Bloodright will connect as well, and Seal Kid, he'll try and run, but look at the speed on Mutumba Man. He's not even needed at the end of the day, because Boogie on this Shadow Demon picks off the kill, and I think you said it earlier, but Boogie's plays on this Shadow Demon have really helped the team fight potential of 4SC and been so disruptive, excuse the pun, against NIP, making it very hard for them to fight into the lineup.
I'm just, in sort of that fight, when it's, you know, when he had a Bloodseeker that commits with a Rupture onto a target that is, it was that already. That, I think I was like, yeah, it was the Undying. He used that Rupture on Undying, and he was dead. He bought back into the fight, but before he got back into the fight, the Disruptor just died. And, you know, these kind of things can happen, and what Era tried to do there, he got very low, and he tried to get a good Omni-Slash target. He was looking for it, but he couldn't find it. And before, then he wanted to use that, he wanted to use that ultimate, the Omni-Slash, onto the Bloodseeker. He did not get it off. Leshwick in the last second, he got that stun off.
Look at this, Ruptron's Era again. He will play through and continues to move himself away. There's going to be a Roar onto Limp, who's caught at the front line of this fight with a Hex and the split up. He gets blown up, Viper down for 50 seconds. Mutumba Man will be able to remove the Tombstone. Jonathan Fan looking for the Blink Call, isn't going to catch anyone. Spike attempted by Varlix, won't hit onto the Axe. But 4SC, do they want to try and push this one up to the high ground? Leshrak looking incredibly tanky, incredibly fat. 16 charges on his Blood Zone at the moment. And 4SC will back up. They show a little bit of mercy against the side of NIP, but 32-19, 29.5 minutes into the game. If we have a look at the graphs, it's coming up to a huge amount in terms of both net worth and XP, favouring the side of 4 Anchors. And again, this game, the performance being pretty spectacular from the side. And I think in these qualifiers as a whole, 4 Anchors, they've been surprising a lot of people. I don't know if people thought they play as well as they have been, Hani.
I did have them on my top 2 of that group.
Did you? Okay.
It's just I did not have them as my center top. I thought Alliance would perform, you know, like somewhat better. They haven't really performed, and I think almost everyone was assuming that Alliance out of this group is going to be for sure one of the contestants.
Yeah.
That is going to take one of the spots. Where I had 4SC is going to be the very surprising factor for me. They're going to take games of top teams, and this group was stacked with really good teams.
Indeed it was, and 4SC 32-19 looking to take another win under their belt. What can NIP do in response to it? That is the question. We've seen them try in the last few team fights, but it's not really been going too great for the Dire. But I don't know, they're going to need something big, they're going to need something flashy. Trixie looking incredibly scary, has that Necro 3 now online, and with 1k gold, he's going to be able to start moving towards his next item. The pings are coming out onto Roshan, which in fact is going to spawn just in time as Jonathan Fan comes around the corner. So NIP, they've got their eyes here on the Roche pit. There's no wards out here for the side of 4SC, but I'm sure they'll look to try and check this one out. And they are heading that way, and well, all the blood rights have been laid down. NIP are going to have to back themselves out of the pit here. It does connect onto both Handscan and Jonathan Fan. The question is, are 4SC ready to fight into this one? And indeed they are. Spike Control will catch out the Undying. Necrobooks just being thrown in. And Mutumba Man with the blood race. The split up onto Limp with the Lightning Storm through as well. Undying, he dropped the Tombstone as the high ground, but Nemphy and Varlix, they're already out of the pit. They're ready to try and take that one down. Mutumba Man pops the BKB. There's an Omni-Slash coming across Mutumba Man, bringing the Bloodseeker over. He manages to get a bit of a rise still as he finishes off the Disruptor, getting himself away because the Roar holding back Era. There's going to be a defensive disruption from Boogie. It might actually be bad for Mutumba Man as Handscan's able to get himself in nice and close and personal. Zol Catcher will connect onto the Undying. There's going to be a buyback from the Axe. Limp goes down. No, sorry, keeping him alive. He will still fall here on the Viper. Mutumba Man, he wants to go back in. He's looking for that life steal. He will find him. Mutumba Man getting a bit of heal. Era trying to CP out of this one. Doesn't manage to get himself away. Jonathan Fan looking forward. Wants to try and fight Silly out of this, but he doesn't find the corner to Trixie. Looks for a dunk onto Boogie. The spin comes through. Breaks down the Shadow Demon. It doesn't matter because NIP, they've called GG. Well played. 32 minutes into the game. It all went a little bit downhill after the mid-game, and I gotta say, 4ASC, their play absolutely impeccable at the end of that match.
Indeed. the way that last team fight started is they were trying to find that axe in the pit, and they get the necrobook on the axe. Axe can't jump anymore. He's the one person that can get the necrobook on. And what happened is that he couldn't jump. He had the rupture on top of him, so he was essentially out of the fight. There was no movement anymore by that.